I mentioned earlier the relentless words of Lamentations that captures the loneliness and despair of the time of destruction. And listen to these words found halfway through the book. In the midst of that destruction and that loneliness, the steadfast love of God never ceases. God's mercy never comes to an end. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. God is your portion, says my soul. Therefore I will hope in God. Now I know that it sounds somewhat counterintuitive to find gratitude in the midst of hard places. As I mentioned in the children's time, gratitude can be kind of tricky. In the midst of hard places, where is there to be grateful? But let's not settle for gratitude as just a feeling, something that we should try to have when things are tough. There's a book, an in-her book, called Radical Gratitude. The author, Rev Jones, speaks of the power of gratitude to center our lives, to hold us even in the very hardest places that we might stand. But she emphasizes that won't happen if we give over gratitude simply to the feeling level. That we're gracious and gratitude and thankful only when it seems to feel right or good. Rather, that he says, think with the mind of the heart. Another way to say that is, go deeper into gratitude and let your heart and mind find a place to meet there. It's not about being grateful for pain. It's not about being grateful for grief or anxiousness or loneliness or whatever puts us in that hard place. But it's about being grateful for the gifts that surround us, always. Gratitude stands right up alongside that pain, alongside that emptiness. Gratitude is a learned response. It's something that we're taught. It's one of those things, everything I need to know I learned in kindergarten. It's something that we grow into. I'm always reminding my kids who are 4 and 10 to say thank you. It's not a one-time teaching lesson, but I'm always reminding them. It's a constant reminder. I had a friend teach me that when in a hard place, make a gratitude list. Well, at the time I thought that was rather absurd and even somewhat insensitive to the hard place that I was in. I was feeling more angry and sad than gracious. I thought how ridiculous it could be to, in that space, make a list of what I'm gracious to and thankful for. But eventually, grudgingly, I gave it a try. I practiced gratitude. Not as a way to step over or around or ignore pain, but a way of acknowledging that even in those hard and lonely places, I was not alone. I still reluctantly draw up that list when I'm in a hard place, but I know the outcome of having gratitude for whose I am and to whom I ultimately belong to assists me through those hard places. And that's why today, in our church calendar year, today, known as Reign of Christ Sunday, it's so important, a reminder that Christ reigns in and through our lives. In hope, in love, in compassion, in justice, and in peace. I think that may be why those of the first Thanksgiving were able to sit together and gather at that first feast and say, "Great is thy faithfulness." Gratitude assumes the relationship that there's something or someone out there that I am grateful to, and grateful for. Gratitude keeps us mindful of the right connection with God and with others. Gratitude counters the sense of being cut off and reconnects us with life. And again, I'd like to say that I don't think gratitude is easy. I don't think that it is always easy. Letty continues to say that gratitude must become a habit of being that counters the habit of being dissatisfied. She points out that we live in a culture that thrives on perpetual dissatisfaction. Whatever we have, it's not enough. We're told over and over again. And that translates easily into whoever we are, it's not enough. Or in action-oriented communities such as ours, such as the church, whatever we're doing is not enough. Perpetual dissatisfaction does not encourage gratitude. In this book that I'm referring to, there's a poem that she writes that captures this destructive habit of being very well. It's in our gratitude, it's in our ingratitude that blinds us. Our failure to see what we have on the way to getting more. Our disregard for whatever we step over on the way to somewhere else. Our lack of attention to the person by our side on the way to someone else. Our dismissal of the good that we do on the way to something greater. All that we take for granted falls through our hands and disappears from sight as we too fall away from ourselves and from you, O God. We walk by ourselves by the wayside and do not recognize you on the way to something better. As we gather today on this Reign of Christ Sunday and on the threshold of approaching Thanksgiving, may we give thanks for whose we are and to whom we belong. We are not alone. God made us and we belong to God, and as Jesus taught us with his life, nothing can ever change that fact. So I offer some suggestions, some ways that Mary Jo Letty suggests to make our gratitude our habit of being. Begin before you're ready, she says. Like my friend who suggested I make a gratitude list when I really wasn't in that space to do that. Making the list before we're ready, because there is this economy of grace that we will find. That amazing realization we already have what we see. That we have enough. Another, practice in the morning, she suggests. In the evening, throughout the day, practice gratitude. I have a friend who wears a wristband, and it says on his complaint-free zone, or something like that. And he wears it to remind himself not to complain. And when he catches himself, he stops, and then he switches it to his other wrist, on the other arm. He practices gratitude. And she suggests, gather with like-minded people. This is part of what we do here as a faith community. Not that we all agree with each other in the church, God help us, but that we are all on this journey, and we are encouraging each other in the hard places, and we are standing with each other in the lonely places. We are a community of grace, of God's grace. And when we know that, how can we respond but with gratitude? Friends, this Thursday, as we remember those who gathered for the first Thanksgiving, let us also remember that as we stand in some hard and lonely places in ourselves, we also stand in the presence of God, who has proclaimed that love is around us and before us and under us and above us. We are called